Okay, we're live. We were live, but I was just like staring out into space. Hey everyone. So today we're gonna work on the last coding session for Griptape and React, and we're going to be doing the final piece of the auctions application, which is creating new auctions. So I'm just waiting on Luis to get his screen share going, and we'll get started.
Hey guys, so hold on a moment. I'm just preparing here everything that we need. And I think I'm ready. So let me share my screen.
Yeah, open that up, and then I'll just maximize that. Oh, sorry. All right, there we go.
Right.
Yeah, it looks good, Bruce. So we just get started.
Okay. So let's go, and before we start, let's run our application to see where we are. So I'm going to run the application. Actually, before I do that, let me just do a commit very quickly. Now we can do yarn start. Whoops. Oh. So let's see where we are in our application. I think we left by implementing the bid functionality and also to check if an auction have any bids, I think. So let me, I think I'm gonna clear here. Okay, let me connect. I think I removed all my viewing keys, I guess. I mean, I did it at this moment, but well, I don't know what happened there. But yeah, so the last stream we worked on placing bids, change the minimum bid, and check if an auction has any bids. I think the next thing that we're going to work on right now is to actually create an auction. I think there was one missing feature here, Sandy, that we might want to go over very quickly, which is a retract bid functionality. I think so. Let me go to the docs.
Luis, you know what? I mean, doing the retract bid to me seems pretty similar to the way you would do the actual bid, right? So it's just an additive feature, but I think what we want to do is we really need to get the create a new one. And maybe we should just maybe do this at the end if we have time or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good.
That's what I would say.
Okay. So yeah, sounds good. Let's go and work on the create viewing key, the create auction feature. So let's go to our docs and let's see how do we create an auction again. So remember that in order to create an auction, what we did using the CLI was first given the sale token, increasing the allowance, right? So essentially, the factory has the ability to move those tokens, and from the auction, from the factory auction perspective, called the create auction message that will essentially create the auction, right? So I think we're going to do something real simple to do both, to do that. But first of all, what we need to do is to create a form to select uh, the tokens that you want for the to be the sell and the bid token, and then from there we can just execute both the increase allowance on the sell token and the create auctions on the create auction message on the factory contract. So let's go to our app. I think I'm going to add a new component or create an auction. And actually, I think maybe creating a new page might be a good idea just for this. For the sake of this example. So I'm going to import everything that I need from React. We have our component ready, and yep, let's try and see what information do we need. So if we go to the create auction, we can see that we need label both contracts, the sell and the bid contract, and sell amount, minimum bid, where it ends, and the description. Okay, so let's try and write all the things that we need for that are static, let's say, and then we're going to add the dynamic components of it, which are the tokens, I guess. So let me go to a JSON formatter, format this JSON, get this JSON from here, format that, and then there we go. Okay, so the first thing that I need is to set a label for the auction. I think that for this in particular, I might generate that auto-generate the label. Because one thing that we need to remember is that this label is the label of the contract itself. And each label for each contract is it should be unique throughout all the different contracts. So we might want to do something that gets generated for the label. Now, let me start with a very simple component here. let's go and see what else do we need. So first we need to select either the cell or the bit tokens, and we need to set the amounts for those. So I think let's start by doing form. Let's do a label here. I don't know why I'm not getting a completion there, but cell contract. We're going to put an input for the amount. And also I'm gonna add a select for selecting the token that I want to use. So in this case, let's set a default option. App. And finally, I think some inputs for the description. Well, I think the description might be at the end. What else? Where it ends and the minimum bid. So a contract. Minimum bid, bid amount, minimum bid, and description. And I need a way to set the ends at. So well, this doesn't end a. I think that's pretty much it. So let's go to our index to add that page. Well, actually, it was in the app. This one. And let's add a new route for creating an auction. that. And let's go and put a link on the index, actually on the default layout, to create an auction. And let's see how the app looks. So well, here's the create auction link. And as we can see, this is the form that we built. See, I'm gonna do some sort of styling, I think. What should be the best way to implement styling here? I think if anyone has any good suggestions about how to do this, those are welcome. I think this should be enough, actually. Okay. Let's do 300. Okay. So this is a little bit better. And let's do okay. Cool. So now that we have the, sorry guys. There we go. Now that we have the form there, I think we can put the tokens. So let's go and import tokens from data tokens.json, right? Again, these tokens, information that we need for these tokens are the token address, actually the code hash, that might be interesting to, well, actually the code hash is the same for all these tokens as far as I remember, so that won't be a problem. But in case, well, all the custom ones, not the secret one, but yeah, let's see how we handle that in a moment. But I think that's all that we need. So let's go and show the options for each of the tokens. So let's do a function that does that. So render options, maybe. And then return tokens out map item return option value and option value. This should be IT dot value should be the address, I guess, and here is the name or the symbol, I think. I think name is fine. And I can render options here. Render options here too. Should work, I think. Oh, and I need to set the key to be the address, I think. Right? So secret, plan B, girl, blind, all that, right? So now we can select one to be the bit, one to be the cell token. I don't think we want to validate or do a lot of different validations right now, but for sure you might want to properly handle if you have one selected. Maybe you don't want to select the same cell to be the the cell token to be the same as the bit token. So you might want to handle that too, but I think that we're in a pretty good shape right now. So now we have the cell, and we need to set the cell amount to select the cell token, the bit amount, set the minimum bit. I think I'm going to change the bit amount to be after that. Up. And it may be the case that we're going to rearrange some of these elements right now. This is just for now to be easier to work with. But then the ends at choose the HTML5 date input, and then the description, which is an optional description that you can set. So let's say that we're going to put in optional. And let's put a title here for H2 create option. Okay, cool. I think that's it. Remove add insert and the label. And as I said, the label, we can set the label auto-generate the label later. So now that we have our form, we are rendering the different options that you can use for your tokens. This component might be better if we add the images and all of that. I think for now, let's just do this. But now we are able to set all this information into a state so we can use it later. So we're going to import from React use state. We are going to create a form, I guess, state form use state form set form. That's pretty much it. And let's start binding to this form. the different things that we need. In this case, I'm gonna initialize it with different default values for each. So in this case, for well, I don't think this is totally necessary, but I need to set the cell amount, bit amount, cell amount, bit amount, and set description. Cell contract. Maybe I'm going to initialize everything with null. So cell amount, bit amount, and send description, cell contract, bit contract, and what else? Minimum bit. That's it. All right, so now that we have the form, we need to start binding the values from the inputs. So for the cell amount, sorry if this is not really fancy stuff. On change, we want to do is, I don't know, it's fine to do it that here, but let's say set cell amount this and set form set cell amount value. Need to check if that, okay, cool. So setting the form to have the set cell amount, and just passing set cell amount. That should, I guess that should work. Now for the select, I'm going to also create very quickly the create auction. And submit. Like that. And let's see if that's working. Okay, so let me just write that, and well, we need a button to create the auction. Okay, so that seems to be working. Now let's create another function to bind the value of the selects. So set cell token or cell contract. I guess this is kind of similar. Cell contract needs target value. I'm not sure exactly how this is going to get, I guess. Well, I don't quite remember. And on change, I guess. So bear with me, guys, if I'm doing some sort of testing here because I don't know exactly how to handle. Okay, perfect. So the value gets passed in, therefore cell contract. That's it. Yep. I think we can set the name for this more easily, I guess. Well, set the values for these ones more easily, just using one method and then passing in the property that we want to set. Maybe I want to try that right now. Let me see, guys. So I'm going to do some testing. I don't know exactly if this is going to work, but bind value, let's say prop like that. That should work. So bind value e, then in this case is cell contract, cell mount, and in this case is cell contract. Let's see if that works. Okay, cool. Seems that it's working. So I'm gonna do that to speed up a little bit this. So now I'm going to bind the I'm gonna say cell token and cell and bit token rather to say contracts. And I think I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. And I'm going to bind the value for the bit token now. Bind the value e bit contract Now let's do the same for okay. The select find value e and bit con. Oh, this is bit amount. This is bit contract, and this should be minimum bit, right? I don't know why. Won't change to bind value the bit amounts. Oh, sorry. Minimum bit. Minimum bit. Let's see. So cell mount. Minimum bit. At this point, I should have. Well, I'm gonna set this a little bit different numbers. So bit amount is fine. Bit contract girl. Minimum bit cell amount. Cell contract null. Let me see why cell contract is null. Value. I think I didn't select it again. Okay. So I'm going to just create an option here just for the default. Remember, we are not doing any like fancy form handling. So for now, it's quite straightforward. Cool. I think the last thing we need to do, now that I can set the bit token bit, let's say that, is the ansat and the description. So let's go to the ansat. I think for this one, I will need to do something specific to this kind of input. On change, I need to see. Sorry guys, I don't quite remember the type of recharges value. I think you get a date for date type, but I don't quite remember. Oh, okay, you get the. Well, this is not useful to what we're trying to do, I guess, because we need both. I think there was another type for date and time. Let me see if date time is what we're looking for, and then we can doesn't seem that to be working. What was daytime local, I guess. Okay, cool. And we get the, okay, I think that's good enough. We can, I guess we can convert that to something that we can use, but it will require a specific binding for that. So bind date value, let's say. Counts value equals the target value. For now, we're not going to set it bind ends at but I need to do something here, right? Which is convert value to epoch time. We're going to do that in a moment. And finally, what we need to do here is to bind the description, I think, and I think that that's the last thing we need to do to so we can have already here. So I change again my value and then description. All right, so let's see. We got the description. Okay, so the last thing we need to do is to bind that particular date. Let me pass it in, bind and at. And let me take a look at the date API. I'm not sure if we have something here that we could use to convert. Returns, so date parse. Yeah, so this makes sense. Let me just do what we get in return here. So let me try and do today. Sorry if I'm experimenting a little bit here, guys. Bear with me. I just want to see if this works. But this is, yep, this is fine. Okay, cool. So let me finish this before we move on. Cons ends at equals to data parse value. So if I do like that, okay. think that makes sense. I think the last trailing zeros doesn't matter. I guess, I think so. We're gonna check in a moment, but I think that's all that we need. So now that we have all the form bind and all the values ready to be sent, I think we can work on the create auction function. And we need to prepare a message that looks like this. And in order to do that, we need to set our auctions factory to be ready to get one of these and to set a message to do that. So first of all, we're going back, we're going to open the auctions factory.js file, which has our contract definition and the instantiation of the auction factory contract line. So we're going to add in the messages section of the auction factory contract definition a new message for creating an auction. So let's say create auction. Now for this create auction, we need to set all this information, and one way that you could do it is to define all this message in when you're creating the auction, but it doesn't really make sense because this is under the contract domain, let's say, and here you're working with your front end domain, let's say. So we're going just to pass in directly the object that we're getting as a form and then convert that to this message on the auctions factory contract definition. So I'm going to again create a handle message, return it as the response, well, as a return of the function, and here we need to build this model here. So create auction that will have all the different stuff needed. So again, the first is the context, and then we're going to pass in the form. And for the create auction, we need to set the label. So for now, I'm going to implement a unique label. And I'm going to pass in that here. Then we need to set the sell contract information. We need to define how to get the code hash actually. But for now, I'm just going to pass in the address, which is form.sell contract. Same goes with the bit contract address. Actually, we can't sort of get all the information, the structure here, I guess. And we can rename it here also. But that doesn't make any sense, so never mind. So address form.bit contract. Then label, sell contract, bit contract, sell amount. Sell amount is form.sell amount. Bit amount, well, minimum bit. I think I did two I made a mistake on form. I'm gonna fix it in a moment. So minimum bid and then ansat, which is form.ansat, and description, which is form.description. That's it. So we need to find a way to implement a unique label for each contract. Before I do that, I need to remove the bid amounts. That doesn't make any sense here because we only need the minimum bid for the token. I think the selection of the token might be first, and then you select the amount. So let's do that on both. That makes a little bit more sense. And there's no bid amount here. Okay, cool. Let's go back to our app and see, okay, the sell token, the sell amount, bid token, the minimum bid, wait ends, and the description. And in the auction factory, we can see that we have the create auction message function, and then we are essentially passing in all the information that we need to do that. Now, in terms of the label, I mean, one way that you could do this is to generate a unique ID, let's say, for each contract. You can use a UUID sort of UUID algorithm to generate those IDs. I think we're going to do that. Before I do that, actually, let's solve the code hash issue that we're having here. So, as I said, both all the tokens, the custom tokens, have their own hash, and I think the best solution for this is to have some sort of mechanism to get the code hash. I think there's an API from Griptape that actually does that. Obviously, that'll need to query the blockchain. But I think there was like get contract. Actually, there's not. Let me see. So get address. I think there was a. Hold on, guys. I need to check something really quick.
Do you think maybe we should just include it in the JSON?
Yeah. I mean, that's part of the solution for this use case specifically.
Or what about where people add their own, that kind of thing?
Yeah.
In the future.
Yeah, well, of course, I can just hard-coded them for now. Just let me see, guys, if there's something that we could use. If there's not, we're going to do that, and it might be a good scenario for us to cover on Griptape too. Getting the code hash. Yeah, but I think there's nothing else out there to do that. So,
Luis, it's almost like when you instantiate the contract, you want to get the code hash.
Yep.
And assign it. You know? I mean, the problem with that is if you do, like, you should be able to override in case you're doing, 1,000 instantiations, right? But if it's not provided, it should probably query for it.
Yep. So for now, let's actually hard code those. We have two different code hashes. The one for secret and the one for any other custom token that we have. So just for the sake of this example, I'm just going to create like a function that gets the code hash for any given token, and I'm going to hard code them here. So in this case, I'm going to do, we have the contract addresses. Yeah, I mean, this is just an example, so don't pay too much attention to what I'm going to do. But essentially will be contract address, well, address, and if address is a certain address, then we're going to return one hash code, and if not, let's return the other one. So if we go to the docs, hackathon, welcome pack, no, glossary. Let's, oh, I think we didn't put okay, yeah, that's fine. So let me just query those. We could say like query compute contract hash, that's for secret, like that. That's for secret, that means that's this one. And if not, let's query the one for any other contract, which is this one. There we go. And let me do this. So again, this is for the sake of this example. Ignore this because it doesn't really make any sense. And we can get the code hash for this. So this case is cell code hash, cell token code hash, get code hash, form dot cell contract, and for the bit token, bit contract. Now code hash here is a cell token code hash, and code hash here is a bit token code hash, and that's it. Now last thing, the label. So for that, we might want to install some UUID library or something, I guess. It's not that bad, so let's do that. So let's install UUID, and let's just use that to generate that. Yeah, the only thing that you need to consider is that it should be unique. because it's the label of the contract itself. So let's start again, and let's go to I think the API for this is super simple. Yeah, seems right. So, and again, this is under the domain of the auction factory. So we are not letting the client know how that's being generated, but that's the idea. And that's it. This should be enough for creating the auction. Obviously, before we do this, we need to increase the allowance for the sell token, and we're going to see how we're going to do that in a moment. But we now have the create auction, so as long as we have everything correct here and we increase the allowance accordingly, then we should be able to create the auction, to create any auction. So let's go back to our create auction page component, and let's start writing what we need to actually create the auction. So as I mentioned, first we need to increase the allowance on this case is the sell token, and then we need to create the auction, right? Or call the execute the create auction message on the factory. So in order to do the first, we need a contract client so we can get the sell, so we can call the increase allowance on the sell token contract. So in order to do that, I'm going to import from Griptape the following API. So create a contract client, and also we are going to import the snip20 definition from stick or by Griptape. I think that's it. Now the next thing is maybe when the component gets mounted, create that contract line. So let's go, and I'm going to move this up. And here I can use effect. And on the use effect, I can create the contract client, or, oh no, sorry, we cannot do this here because we need to do it when you select sell contract. So in order to do that, let me see. So we're going to create an R function that will essentially create the contract client. So let's say a client sell contract client. So when you select any of the tokens, you will create a new contract client for that token. In this case, what we need to do here is to use the form.sell contract. So let's do create contract client if no form.cell contract, then do nothing. In case that you have the cell contract, then form address form.cell cell contract node address return address add address, and then the definition in this case is a snip 20 definition. And if we go back to our cell this well, we can either both cell we're going to create a new function just to both bind and create the cell contract line. So on cell token change or on oh, that's fine, on cell token change we both bind the value for the cell contract, and also we create the cell contract line. Which I think what I'm going to do is something like this. Target value. Well, actually, I'm just going to put it directly here. I think it doesn't make any sense to target value. Know that I'm combining several contexts here, but again, it's just a simple example how to do it. So I'm gonna do that. Now that I have the contract line created, when someone selects the cell token, now I can use it when I submit the form. So I'm going to I need to import the ref contract from the registry, from Griptape, and get the contract from the registry. So ref contract is equal to form. Obviously here I'm going to do if. Well, here I can do some validations, I think, for the whole form. See, I'm not going to do that right now. But in this case, form.cell contract will be what I'm looking for. One thing that I'm not sure that I'm thinking of right now is I think this should work, but I'm thinking of some other scenario here that I wasn't aware before, which is what happens if I create a bunch of create contract clients. Right now is going to work because each of them is going to have a different address, a different ID. But what happens if I set a particular ID for a contract client and then I try to create another contract client with the same ID? I don't quite recall what should happen there, but well, we can move on. So contract, ref contract, sell contract, that's fine. And then we can call the increase allowance. So contract dot, I think it's called that, increase allowance. Let me do a double check on that because that should be part of yeah, I think it was increase allowances. But let me just do a double check on that. Yes, so increase allowance, that was correct. And you need to pass in the expander and the amount, which are things that we need to send here, right? The spender, in which in this case is the auction factory contract, and the amount. So if we are going to do that, then we need to say, okay, first of all, we need the auction factory contract to be available here. So auction factory, you call it singular, yeah. From the contracts auctions factory, I'm gonna get the auction factory, and I need to do, oops, auction factory.add the first parameter, and then the last parameter is the amount. In this case, the amount of sell token being sent on the form, which is the sell amount. And I think that's pretty much it. Now, after we increase the allowance for the sell token, I think it's just a matter of calling the auction factory dot create auction and passing in the form. In this case is, yep, it's this one. And all of that, sure, considering all the good stuff from a front-end perspective, right? Properly handling the state of the UI to reflect exactly what's happening. In this case, again, just a loading might be enough for this example, but you might want to consider change that to be a little bit more way more interesting. So I think that's it. Let's see how that goes. I mean, we're going, hopefully this is a first try, but essentially what we did was building a form that handles all the stuff that you need. Then creating a contract client for increasing the allowance for the sell token. And finally, calling the create auction by building the create auction message function on the auctions factory definition, right? So hopefully this will work. Let's go back to our create auction app. Before I do that, I'm going to set actually something that I could do after we finish is to move on to the homepage or to see the list of auctions after this completes. So I'm going just to do that, just to have some sort of more sophisticated feedback. I think I don't need the use effect here. But in order to do that, I think I need to, I don't know how to programmatically change routes. Thing is, use route from React router. No, I don't think this is right. Maybe just routes. There should be a way to, I'm just going to look at the docs. So React router. So how to programmatically change routes. So use navigate. Okay. So this is the thing that I was doing wrong. So it's not just routes, it's just navigate. Navigation or navigate to a specific. That makes sense. I think I'm going to remove this from here. I know, this is fine. Yeah. That's really fine. But let's do here, navigate, and navigate to the home, I guess. That should be it. So let's try it out. So first of all, I'm going to create a subeorg to secret first. So 10 for 1 secret. It's going to be today, but let's say 2 my time. And then this is my New York for secret auction. See how it goes. So we create the auction. Oh, what happened? Prevent default. Oh well, that's for sure didn't work because I had some issues, and here weird that it didn't told me about it before. I think that should fix all issues. So again, New York, let's say 10. Oh, there's one thing that also we need to do now that I remember is to properly format the numbers for the cell amount. We are for sure not doing that here. So I think I'm going to do a specific binding for that too. So before so we don't need to change all the things that we just did. So amount, let's say, is we need to import the coin convert thing, and we need to get the value. So we target the value, if no value, then return all the good stuff that you love. Then const amounts, line amounts, but I need to set also the prop that we want to change from the form. So amount equals to coin convert. This is interesting because we need more information about the token. So I'm going to get that information in a moment. So before we do this, let's do how the bind amount work. Mind value. So something that we need to do here is be very careful when well, not being very careful actually. It's just a matter of when we pass in the amount, we need to know which token. Maybe it might be better to do it then at the last step of this, I guess. Yeah, I think I'm going to do it as the last thing. Doesn't matter that we need to change a lot of stuff. I mean, it's not a lot, so it doesn't matter. So coin convert, well, for sure we need to do a function, which is get amount. In this case, we need to get the token, which is tokens.find address equals to that. If no token, then we cannot do anything, or we don't know exactly what to do, so we don't do nothing. We do nothing, and then before we move on, we return coin convert address and amount. Actually, it's the two things that we need. So amount, then decimals is token.decimals, and to machine. In this case, this is I'm gonna call it get amount. It's fine for now. So get amount. The address is a form dot sell contract, and the amount is form dot sell amount. And this is the amount, right? For increasing the allowance. And I think we might want to do the same for in the auctions factory contract. Therefore, just to make this a little bit clean, not too much, I'm going to create a new file, utils.js for now, that will import the tokens, and we'll have the get amount thing that we created here. So I'm just going to move that to this file and export it. I'm gonna call it get amount for token, I guess. And then I'm just going to import it. So import get amount for token from utils. This is what we're going to use here. Get amount for token, and going back to our auctions factory. So sell amount equals to import code hash also is going to come from there, from utils. Move that to the utility file that we have here. That, and get amount for token. In this case is form dot sell token. Sell contract form dot sell amount, and bit minimum bit is equals to get amount for token for the beat contract form dot minimum bit. Finally, sending those amounts to here. So amounts and minimum bit. And I think that's pretty much it. So that should work, I guess. Call it from, not form. And coin convert is going to be needed here. And for sure, this is utils. So we made it, guys. The create auction. We don't need this anymore. Now it's time to test. So let's see if this works. We're going to select again Sujork, 10 of this, 401 of this. This in about 25 minutes, my time. And this is a new auction. It's not a function. Increase allowance is not a function. Let me see, guys, what's happening here. So, are we using the SNP20 definition? Yes. Are we getting the contract from the cell? Yes. Then are we increase allowances? Oh, I see. Increase allowances, plural. You cannot see my other screen, guys, but I have Griptape there. So I'm gonna try again. This surely need to work, hopefully. Again, this in about whatever, like 24 minutes or so. Yeah, auction. Let's hit create auction and see how that goes. So first of all, we can see, okay, this executing the Sujork contract, increasing the allowance, sending it as the spender, the auctions factory, and putting that amount. I don't know exactly how many decimals Sujork has. 12. Okay, then I think that makes sense. And then, well, a padding option that gets sent when you do that. So let's see how that goes. If I increase the allowance, hopefully in a moment Kepler will pop up again to create the auction. And yep, so let's see. Now we're executing the auctions factory contract. We are setting the label to be a UUID. In this case, maybe adding a prefix will help. Now the address for the cell contract is Sujork, I think so. And the code hash is correct. Now the secret one is a bit contract. And we are sending the code hash for that contract. Cell amount, the 10 that we did, minimum bid 1 for the bid token. It's and adds at this time. And finally, a description. Let's approve that and wait for this to be created. We should be prompted to the, okay, there we go. It's the home page, and now, as we can see, we created this new auction. If we go there, we can see that suyork sale amount minimum bid 1 secret. Now the ansat is a little bit weird. I think we needed to divide that up by 1,000, I guess. That's what's happening. But everything else looks really good. I mean, the description, mini auction, and all that works exactly the same. I can check if this has bids. It has not any bids. And let's just fix very quickly the time thing that we're having here. I think this should be a matter of this. I think we need just to divide it by 1,000. That should fix. I'm going to create another auction. This case, girl, let's say 2 girl, for, let's use another like this one, 2 for 1 plan B. Well, plan B is not 1 Choco. Let's say today like that. Another auction. Let's do create auction. Now increase the allowance. Let me see, the thing is still kind of wrong, but let's see how that looks. Let's see the new auction. Well, this is UTC, which makes sense. Yeah, 20 hours UTC. Okay. Yep, that fixed the time issue. And as you can see, this is girl for chocolate. My current balances for both. I can check if it has bids. It has not. I can do, the same exercise that we did on the last stream, going back to another account and make some bids on this. But essentially, that's pretty much it for creating an auction. I don't know, Sandy, if am I right, but I think so.
Have we done the close auction?
No, we haven't done any close or retract bid functionalities.
I wonder how hard it would be to close auction, because if we could do that, then we could like fully do we could have you could move from one place to the other, right?
Close action is just calling the close action on the auction contract.
Yeah, you just have to be the owner.
Yep, you have to be the owner.
Finalize auction sale. There it is.
There we go.
All right. There's a whole thing with closing it where, yeah, it might just be out of scope for us to do right now. There's a whole thing with closing it where, like, if there isn't a bid, do you want to close it, or do you want to redo or do you want to reset the minimum bid kind of thing? So or reset the end date to allow and make a new minimum bid. And that's basically to protect in a situation in which there haven't been any bids, and the owner wants to be able to.
I see what you're saying, but in this case, it's not closing then, right? So closing only happens when NSAT gets reached. Finalizing
it gets
means
closed.
that you can.
It gets closed if there's a bid.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
So we could just put this in and then make sure there's a bid, and then we could run it, and we could see the funds move. Maybe it's not worth it. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, the new NSAT is optional, so I think you just have to pass an empty thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean both the NSAT and the minimum bid are optional. So finalizing means that but we need to reach the NSAT, right, in order to finalize the auction. So we need to create a new auction that lasts like 5 minutes, and then we can finalize it, right?
No, the owner can finalize it whenever they want.
Whenever they want? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
After that, anyone can finalize it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, so that means that we need to... That's going to happen in the auction page, I think so. And essentially it's just a button, right? For finalizing the auction. So let's add a button there then. Does that happen on the auction contract? Okay, that makes sense. And we just need a button. Here we go. Now, button finalize auction, I guess, or close auction. Oh, sorry, guys. That, then close auction. That means that we need to get the contract from the contract registry. Then we need to call the close or finalize. So let's go to our auction contract definition. And we are going to add to our messages the close auction message function. Our message equals like that. Return handle message. And just finalize. I think that's pretty much it, what we need. Finalize. If I go back to here, I'm going to be able to call that. So is there a set loading? Yes. So loading false. True. Await contract close auction. Finally, maybe I think when we changed the minimum bid, we were doing some sort of change minimum bid. Well, set loading false, contract close auction. And I think that's pretty much it, I guess. So close auction, go to our auction and see how that looks. So let's say that we go to the Sujorg secret. We can close the auction if we click. Let me just add to that the disable state. Just to make sure. So close auction. Let's see if that worked. Oh, but first I need to create a bid, right, Sandy, to place a bid.
Yeah. So what you should do probably is have two wallets, maybe, or I should place a bid or something. Oh no, it's on your local. So
Yeah.
so yeah, you'd want to place a, like, you created this with one wallet, right? You'd switch a wallet, place a bid with the other one. Look at your balances of the two tokens, and then we'll see if they basically switch places.
Okay, so I need Sujorg for that. So
you'll send yourself some, yeah.
I'm gonna send some Sujorg. Other address. Okay. So now move on to test. Then I'm going to, oh, I need to, create viewing keys for all of these, but why is this wallet so difficult to use? Is because we don't have the symbol. Okay, so Sujorg. And what was the other one? Oh, this is really interesting. So oh, because I closed it before, it's no longer appearing here. Okay, well, I think I'm gonna do yes. Well, I'm gonna do the Choco one. I don't know why my balances are not updating.
Well, I don't know.
But let me then again passing some Choco from this account to the other one. So Choco so okay. Now that I go to test. Let me update the page. Okay, so I have 1,000 Choco. Okay. So minimum bid. Why I don't see my Choco? Well, I don't know, but I'm gonna do, I don't know, 10 Choco for this. I do have balance to do that, so let's do that. Okay. Hopefully, if I go back to whale, and I refresh this page, and I check has bids. It has. And then before I do that, I have one to girl. Well, we are selling 2 girls, so that means that I have, how many girl I have here? Oh, I have exactly 2 girl. I'm going back to test to see how many girl I have. I think I don't have any girl. Wait, what? Something really weird is happening with this wallet component. But okay, I don't have any girl. Okay, cool. So if I go back to whale, I refresh, I should be able to check this.
Are there
Has
bids?
bids, yep.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
So then close it.
But close. Now closing means that I will get.
Your girl balance should go up, right? Oh no, your girl
Now
balance should go down.
my chocolate balance is going to go up. Okay, apparently it finished. Let me check again.
You should be checking to see if it's closed or not. Oh yeah, status closed.
So the status is closed.
Okay, great.
So I got my 10. Okay.
So check your balance. Oh, it went up.
Yeah, it went up. Yeah.
And
then,
your girl should have gone down, right?
Well, the girl was down before because
right. You had already put it in. Yeah.
I already put the girl into the contract. But test should have get to girl.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right, it works. Very cool. So awesome. I guess that's it for the 4 videos. We made it by the skin of our teeth. And it's pretty ugly, but it works. So yeah, I think there's just so much more that can go into this application. But yeah, this should give you a pretty good idea of how to do it if you're watching at home. Cool. Well, thanks for watching, guys, and we look forward to your entries and continuing to move forward with Griptape together. Thanks again.
See you guys.